What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of Dauntless Outdoors. Today's episode, got a little friend in the morning. About to head out. Not sure what the plan is. We're hopefully going to shoot some African pompano, probably some mangrove snapper, stuff like that. But yeah, he's feeling good, just like us. So we'll catch you on the water. Hey, got to the first spot. Got Drake's feet. Yeah. We are drifting. We're waiting to see how our drift is to line up on the anchor. We are in 125 feet of water. Hopefully we're gonna shoot some African pompano. We're not sure. Whatever happens, happens, and it's gonna be a great day. So we'll catch you in the water. What's going on, y'all? Just hopped in the water. I think I did a couple drops off the edge of the wreck, and unfortunately didn't see anything too crazy. But I did spot a nice black, I think, the dive right after this. Unfortunately, the GoPro didn't really pick it up, so I kind of just left it out of the video. But this is my first drop where I actually saw a fish and went to take a shot. Unfortunately, I missed the mangrove. He kept moving, and didn't see too much else after this. So it's kind of unfortunate. There's a lot of fish, but nothing that good to shoot, so it kept moving. All right, we are now at the second spot. That first spot was definitely something. We saw some cool fish, but landed one American red. Kind of unfortunate. I saw probably, I don't know, 30-something pound black. He was pushing down to the bottom. I followed him to 100. Didn't get a shot. We're now in 150 foot on a wreck. Looks really alive. You can kind of tell there it's pretty alive. But we're hopefully gonna shoot some stuff here. So catch in the water. So hopped in the water. I think this is like my second drop on the spot. Didn't see too much in the first, and I'm looking over. Found some yellow jacks. Those guys pay out pretty good on a commercial trip, so I decided I was going to take a shot on him. Been down here for a little while already, but I wasn't seeing too much else. Get a nice stone shot on him, and I turn over. You probably can't see him, but there's a real nice Cubera swimming right to me. And you'll hear it when I get to the surface. I wasn't too happy that I shot a yellow jack and unloaded my gun. So, is what it is. Kept moving. Ah! Dang it! So landed that guy, kept moving, and as you can tell, there's a couple sharks swimming around. Nothing too crazy. Did a drop right after that shark left, and spotted a real nice school of yellow jacks here. Saw him from the surface, and I was kind of looking around for him, and I was waiting, and finally, there they are. They're all swimming up to me, and you can kind of see they're all pretty nice, about the same size, so I just picked the closest one that was the biggest, and unfortunately, whiffed. Kind of bad shot, but oh well. And then got to the surface, Drake called my name, and I realized he had a pretty nice African pompano here. So I reloaded my gun as fast as I could and went down to give him a backup shot. And I whiffed again. So yeah, that's textbook what you don't want to do. Kind of cool. You have a really good shot. I was just gonna shoot it because
I have a really good shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because I shot it from far away, and I got through him though, right?
Yeah. So Drake landed that guy, kind of tipped me off to where he saw him. And typically when you go down and you can get an African pompano, there'll be another school of them in the area. So told me he went down over there. I go down and I spot the school of them, just follow them around until I get a shot. It's kind of the protocol once you see some African pompano. It's a pretty far shot. I'd take it anyways, just because I got a bigger gun, I think 140 centimeter with 3 bands, so knew I could punch through. Took that shot and waited for him to come on up. It's kind of nice. Not the biggest African pompano, but definitely a pretty good one. Landed a really good shot, so wasn't worried about him pulling out. Pretty cool. So we kept moving. Drake went down. He got a shot on a pretty nice Cubera here, and I was going to give him a backup shot, but as you can tell, doesn't need much of a backup shot there. So just go down here, make sure to pull the fish up with me, make sure no sharks or kudas or whatever tear into it, and yeah, secure a pretty darn cool fish.
What the? What is that guy doing here? That's crazy.
So typically when you spot some Cubera, it's kind of a one-time thing. They're typically pretty darn smart, and won't give you another shot once you shoot at one of them. But today was a different scenario for sure. Go down here, and this is kind of the same area I shot that yellowjack and I spotted the other Cubera. So I was just like dreaming about seeing another one, but I didn't think it would actually happen. And as I'm going down, I see a dark shadow and I notice it's a Cubera, so I just slowly push until I get a shot on him. Take that shot, and I can see my shaft didn't go through as I'm swimming up, so I didn't want to pull too hard. And then I saw those sharks coming, so I had to pull them up with me. And unfortunately, the shaft just pulled out, so wasn't very happy about how that turned out. And as I'm swimming up, I can see it's kind of just sitting there, belly up, not moving, and I was almost convinced the sharks were going to eat it, but as I was swimming up, I saw the sharks turn down, and the first thing that came to mind was ask Drake to do a dive.
Dang it. Are you ready to, could you do a dive or no? Yeah. I just stoned a fat Cubera right here, and it fell off my shaft. How far down? Probably deep. Oh, okay. Like a good Cubera, or? He was probably like 20 pounds. I mean, it wasn't a giant, but. Drake, it's right there.
So I look over, I see some bubbles, and I notice that the fish is actually floating belly up. And the reason that's happening is because I hit its spine and completely stoned it, and it really couldn't control its air bladder, so it was just floating up to the surface, and it was eventually just going to come all the way up. But Drake went down just to make sure no sharks got to it or anything else crazy happened, and he goes down, puts a shot in it, and secures that fish. I was very happy to see that fish actually came up, because I hate killing fish and not actually landing them. So it was pretty darn cool to actually get another shot at landing this fish.
How did that work?
Dude, that's awesome, man. That's awesome.
Oh my gosh.
Holy smokes. That was a very weird turn of events. Shot him right there, went through, hit his spine, just completely spined him. He stopped in his tracks, but it didn't come out on this side. So I could see it didn't come out, but those sharks were right on him, so I tried to pull him up and it just came right out. But since he couldn't control his air bladder, he just floated up, and then Drake put a second shot in him and landed him. But yeah, that's pretty crazy. We've seen probably like, I don't know,
How many Cubera do you think we've seen here?
See here?
Yeah.
I've just seen the really big one.
I don't know, I've seen a few of them, but we got 2 Cubera, 2 APs, and a bunch of yellowjack. So we're doing pretty good. Oh yeah, and that guy, I forgot about him. But yeah, we're gonna hop back in once we get all these fish sorted out, and we'll see you there. So I hop back in the water and I do my first drop. No joke, look down, see a shadow, and I'm like, no way, this is actually about to happen again. So I keep going, pushing down, and I realize it's another Cubera. I'm following him, and he slowly turns around. And the odds of there being 2 Cubera that are willing to give you a shot is crazy. So I swim down, gives me a great shot, take it, completely stone him, and I didn't want any chance of sharks, so I just pulled him up to me and started swimming up. I don't even think I went too deep here. I think I went up to about 95 or so. So it's pretty darn cool to get a shot on that fish. So 2 back-to-back is very crazy to me. So got that fish, start swimming up. Obviously there's Drake there. He went down to just double check, make sure there's no sharks or anything, and man, we got a killer day starting off. So, just got a nice mutton. Had to go to 112 on our minute 53. Not too bad, but got a mutton. And I just got that other Cubera. Unfortunately, my GoPro died on this dive here, so I didn't really get it on footage, but got him. Pretty decent Cubera. And we're gonna get back to work, boys. But it's a nice one. Yeah, unfortunately my GoPro died, so I didn't get that mutton on video. It literally died as I was going down on that dive. So annoying when that happens. But kept moving. Got a new GoPro battery in, and I'm pushing down. Drake told me he saw a couple APs. So as I'm heading down, I look over, see a bunch of APs, and there's a Cubera right there. And I couldn't decide which I wanted to shoot. And then I noticed a Cobia, so I started pushing out towards the Cobia. And then now, I didn't get a shot on anything because I wasted all my dive. And it was super cool. And as you saw, that amberjack pushed him away. And I looked around, and there's literally nothing. So I was like, wow, I suck at diving. So I wasn't too happy with how that dive turned out, but had to keep moving. So I got to the surface, told Drake there was a nice cobia, and he goes down, gets an easy shot. The fish just swam right up to him. So that was pretty cool. We actually ended up landing at least one of those fish. And got back to the boat with Drake. He had a handful of line and all that. If you ever shot some cobia, you know how it is. So got that fish in the boat, and we dropped a couple pieces of chum as well as the guts for that cobia. And we knew there was mutton just because I got a shot on one, and mutton respond really well to chum. So I'm going down. I can see there's a couple of them swimming down here at about 100 foot or so. So I get down to that depth range, and I'm looking around. I find one, and I was like, ooh, I'll take a shot on him. And I start slowly swimming towards him. And what happened is I kept just seeing bigger and bigger and bigger mutton behind him. So I went until I saw the biggest mutton and passed on all the other guys. I included this whole dive here just because I figured it'd be kind of nice to see it. And if you're at 14 minutes, you're probably going to watch the whole video anyways. So I kept going, and I followed this fish all the way out here. Passed on a couple of them already, and I just waited until I got the biggest one. So I push out. I could tell he was a real nice one. He's probably like a 27, 28 incher.
knew I got a killer shot, so I start putting some beans on them. And as I'm pulling them up, I look down. Right out of nowhere, some sharks come up. And I just didn't have it in me to grunt again. It was a longer dive, and it was just full swimming. So, kind of unfortunate. Lost the fish and the shaft here. So I had to hop back in the boat, retie, and do all the fun stuff. But as you can see, I'm still a good ways down. Once you get to the surface, if you want to pause it, you can see my dive watch. It was a little bit of a longer dive, nothing too crazy, but a lot of work to lose a shaft. So got the shaft retied, hop back in the water, and I don't know if you've ever retied your own shaft and all that, but different size shafts shoot different than other size shafts, so I wasn't really ready. And whenever you swap shafts, it kind of always ends up to where you're going to miss the first shot. But I thought I was going to be ready, and I thought I was going to be great, but I couldn't achieve greatness today. I'll let you see. Turn around, spot the school African pompano, start pushing towards them. See this one going backwards? I didn't really know why he was going backwards, so I decided I was going to shoot him. And then I missed. Because if you slow it down or you go back and look, I just shot right over him because different shaft shot a little bit different, and I missed. So, kind of unfortunate. So after that dive, kept moving, and reloaded the gun. As you can tell, the shaft shoots a little bit different, and the shaft also stuck in the gun, which caused me to miss that fish, and kept pushing around. Once you kind of shoot at a school African pompano, you won't see him for a couple of dives. So I head back down, finally found the school again. Knew the shaft was going to shoot a little bit different, so I aimed a little bit lower. Got a great holding shot in another African pompano, and I don't know if you can hear it, but my reel was so loud on this dive. Very annoying. But got to the surface, pulled him up, and landed my last African pompano of the day. Just taking some time to appreciate him. His lips are cool. They're super blue. Typically you don't see him that blue, but super cool fish. I don't know, it's probably like 35 pounds or something. Not too bad.
What's some of the science that you know behind APs? Like how fast do they grow and stuff?
APs, this one's probably like 3.5 years old, something like that. Typically on average they live about 4 years old. They're transient species, so they just swim around. You can show up on a wreck or a sinkhole or a ledge and there'll be 100 of them the day before, and then you come back the next day and there's none of them. So they're just swimming around. I think, fully a theory, I think they swim around at night, go from spot to spot, and hunt squid, but I'm not sure. They haven't done too much research on them, but they're kind of similar to mahi in age, so they're very sustainable, but pretty nice.
How fast do they grow a month, supposedly?
I think it's a couple inches a month. I'm not exactly sure.
I think it was an inch.
Is it?
Yeah, I think it was an inch a month.
Gotcha. Yeah, but they're pretty cool, and they taste a lot better than mahi. Way better.
You want to throw them in for the bid?
Yeah, sure. Pardon the mud shark. Don't look at all the Cuberas. Hide them. Hide them all.
That's one thing people will get pissed. You couldn't help yourself. You saw me like I can't stop.
Oh my gosh. I could have shot probably 2 more of them,
Yeah.
but I didn't want to. They were all the same size.
You want to throw the mud in too? I'll get the mud in here. Here, one. I'm on this side for mud.
Drake's Big old mud. The muddy. Gotta re-ice them, but
Big old mud.
the mud. No. Swam up to him just like that. Woo. So we hopped back in the water. Didn't see too much. Drake got a shot on one African pompano. Kept it pushing. All right, end of the day. We hopped back in the water. Drake got one more AP, which ended up being the biggest one. That guy right there. We're doing pretty good. I think we ended up with 5 APs. Nice Cobia. Nice Mutton. 1, 2, 3, 4 yellow jacks. Ooh, do my best not to get poked. And 3 pretty good Cubera. Drake shot that one. That's the first one I shot. That's the second one I shot, I think. No, that's the first one I shot. That's where Drake got me. But yeah, pretty good. Nothing too crazy. We had a lot of opportunities on fish today, and it was definitely a good day. So stick around. If I can, I'll give you a commercial breakdown. And thanks. All the fish up. It's I think it's 2 mornings later. We are about to head out for a trip. It is 5:52 in the morning. We're at Don's Dock in St. Pete, and we're loading all the ice, getting it all on there, and pack some fresh ice in the cooler and get after it. So. Alright, so then what we do is we pack up the ice for the next trip. Here we go. Alright, so now we're loaded up for the next trip, drop the fish off, and now we get paid. But that comes in a couple days later, so I'll let you know.